Here's the problem. We've got cameras everywhere but in the classrooms. And you've got a bullying problem, right? Cameras on the buses, cameras in the halls, cameras, in the lunchroom, cameras in the gym, cameras in the parking lot. What about this? Oh, cameras at the front doors. But we don't have them in the classrooms. And we've got such a bullying problem. The school just got sued, got their pantsuit off for bullying. But the point is, where there's a will, there's a way. That's the issue that I've got with the school board. There doesn't seem to be a concern. There's no, it's almost like you don't want to know what really goes on inside the classroom. Why wouldn't you have cameras in a classroom? You've got them everywhere else. And you don't tell me you can't afford them. You just spend $8 million on a new drama building or whatever, right? How's that going to help the bullying problem?
All right, real quick here. There's a lot of stuff in here. It would be 80 minutes long if I didn't cut it out. The school board is discussing hiring an additional school resource officer to work directly for Matt Robinson, who now runs his own police department at the Cameron School District.
Officer Palmer is new this year to us, but this is our first, we've had SROs, but this is our first go into pretty much our own police department. And that I think has worked out really, really well. It does put us in a bind because we do send Officer Palmer out when we go to check on students when they're not showing up, when we haven't heard from a parent in 3 or 4 days on a student, or we haven't heard from a student. If we have to send them out with social workers, that then puts nobody back in the buildings. And so, and we have a lot of ground for Officer Palmer to cover. Again, it would, this isn't going to be something that we're going to have grant money or anything like, but is it going to be the board's pleasure to want to see if we can add an additional officer?
I know one of the questions that I get asked, sadly, almost frequently, too frequently and almost constantly when I'm out in public, what are you doing for safety?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? Safety for students, safety for teachers and staff, and safety for the board. I get asked that constantly. I do think that being proactive in this area is important. It's the times we live in.
If I had to have a microphone stuck in my face, I think I'd feel a whole lot better about knowing that I've done everything we can to make sure our students and staff and are safe.
Here's the problem. We've got cameras everywhere but in the classrooms. And you've got a bullying problem, right? Cameras on the buses, cameras in the halls, cameras, in the lunchroom, cameras in the gym, cameras in the parking lot. What about this? Oh, cameras at the front doors. But we don't have them in the classrooms.
That's why we want cameras in classrooms, by the way.
It's going to be an extra expense. So we'll have to we'll have to add that in there. Obviously that might have something on the bottom line that's at 33%. That might lower it or whatever. But going forward,
Good investment.
Yeah,
When it comes to safety, no expenses.
Do I have a motion to allow Dr. Robinson to pursue adding an additional police officer to our district? Moved by Mr. Grenier, seconded by Ms. Peck. Is there any additional discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed, same sign. Seeing none, the motion passes unanimously.